Hello friend, and welcome back once again to Unity of Command. I'm here with the first standalone scenario, Operation Wacht am Rhein, and it takes place at December 16th, 1944. The German army launches an ill-advised offensive, codenamed Wacht am Rhein. The attack hits the weakest section of the American front line, while bad weather grounds Allied aircraft. Once again, Panzer Divisions attempt to blitz through the Ardennes. But much has changed since the fateful summer of 1940. Let's get started here with a little bit of a briefing here. Because, well, this is going to be a very tough one. And, yeah, I've been actually playtesting this quite a bit, trying to get all the objectives and... Finally, I've devised a strategy that I think it works. To be honest, I think this might be one of the hardest missions that I've played in Unity of Command. I think this is one more difficult than Market Garden. It's also a lot longer and bigger, so you can play Market Garden a lot faster. But yeah, I think this is harder than Market Garden. Probably harder than the Hurtgen Forest as well. At least to get all the objectives. I think it's actually a fine mission if you're not going for all the objectives. But I'll go into detail before. So, on this mission, there is only one actual objective, Marche, which is... well, by all means, let's just say the final point that the Germans got to. Like, they never reached the Meuse River here, and they never reached Liège. So, Marche is the only actual victory point for 50 points, turn 4. We have to take St. Vith by turn 2 for additional supply. We have 50% supply. It's really, really bad. We have to take St. Vith by turn 2, Bastogne by turn 3. Then both Liège and Namur by turn 5. The actual objective, Antwerp, by turn 8. It's actually quite... funny how they indeed have the names, not the English names, but they indeed have the Belgian names there. Okay, anyway, Antwerp by turn 8. We have to seize Allied equipment, so take 8 prisoners for a card. That's going to be trucks. And we have to take the Spa fuel depots, which is also trucks, by turn 3. Spa Fuel Depot is the only one that's not a holding objective, besides, of course, the Allied equipment. But we have to hold the rest of the objectives for the rest of the mission until there are no objectives left. Otherwise, well, my objective to, or my goal to get all the objectives has failed. So you need to protect everything. So the way this mission works is that in order to get all the objectives, Liège and Namur, both of them by turn 5, basically we need to take St. Vith by turn 1, and Bastogne by turn 1. That is basically your start position. So you want to take both of these by turn 1. The way you can do that is by forcing your way through here, and by forcing your way through here. Now, I found that in order to get to Bastogne, that is actually a marginally low percentage chance. Why is that? Well, you need to get rid of the 28th US Infantry Division in order to have enough movement to get through with these tanks. So if you want to get the Panzer and the 116th Panther Division through here, you're going to need to beat back the 28th US Infantry Division. But the only way you can do that, well, I can show you already, is by moving these guys up, because there's no bridge here, and attacking. Now you can already see they're not going to retreat from just this. The other problem is that there's a forest here without a road. Or, well, there is a road actually. But because there's a forest here, it's nearly impossible to get units out here, suppress them, and move back. So you basically only have one chance in order to beat these guys, with a 50% chance of retreating once you push back the 9th US Armored CCA. Another problem that you have is that you need to actually retreat the Armored CCA, because if you don't, and you actually destroy the unit, you have a chance that there are too many stragglers that will wind up in this area. Although you could technically use the recon enforce ability to snatch those up. But it's still a problem that you don't really want to face. So, gotta beat back these, then you need to take a 50% chance on the 28th US Infantry Division. And then if that succeeds, then you'll be able to get to Bastogne on turn 1. There's an additional requirement that you need to do after getting to Bastogne though, because what I found is that if you take Bastogne, you need to have stragglers on the hex right next to it in order, because you're going to take Bastogne with the 116th Panzer Division. It's the only division that can reach Bastogne. However, it has a recon step. Now you could technically take that away, but you don't really want to do that. Once you've gotten these guys in Bastogne itself, basically you need to do a recon enforce on stragglers in order to take this hex and the hex across the river. The way that works is that if you take this hex normally, because there's no unit there, because the 28th US Infantry Division has been destroyed and there are no stragglers there, you can't use recon enforce on that hex, and thus the enemy can destroy the bridge. It is absolutely vital that the enemy does not destroy the bridge on turn 1. Why is that? Well, not only are your panzers going to be too slow because they have to take this lower path, or they have to get over a pontoon bridge, but then they will have to go through hills terrain and not forest terrain with a path, which gives no penalty, but tanks on these hills in the snow, they do give a penalty. Which means that your units are going to be much slower and they're going to be too late in order to get all the objectives. The time clock on this mission is obscene. Anyway, you want to have stragglers here, use recon enforce in order to make sure that they don't drop the bridge. What happens if you don't do that? Well, not only will they destroy the bridge, the enemy will get the 101st US Airborne on turn 2. If you don't take Bastogne on turn 1, they will drop on Bastogne, which will delay you significantly, because your panzers are going to be the driving force on this mission. Having infantry on those cities will delay your panzers already by too much. Like I said, your time clock is extremely tight. So you must make sure that the infantry does not deploy on Bastogne itself. Now, if you don't take it, then you're already doomed to fail, to take all the objectives. You can still win the scenario, but not take all the objectives, I think. That seems extremely unlikely, but if you can do it, well, good for you. I would like to see a video of that, but anyway. Take Bastogne on turn 1, take the bridge, and the hex on the other side. If you don't do that, the 101st US Airborne will drop down here at this city. They will do that if you take Bastogne. But then if you don't take this bridge and they destroy it, they will move the 101st up to Marseille and then start parking it there. That's a problem, because you don't want them to do that, because once again, then Marseille will be blocked and you're going to be significantly delayed. If you do take the bridge and subsequent hex, the 101st Airborne will not move to Marseille. It rather seems to me like this is the AI. It looks like the AI is cheating, because I found that if you take the bridge and you have actual vision on Marseille, the unit never arrives there, but probably down here. But if you don't see Marseille, the 101st US Airborne is mysteriously parked there, even though it's supposed to deploy down here. And I actually think it cannot it cannot move all the way up to Marseille, because that's 4 hexes, and I believe the AI never uses extended movement. At least I've never seen them do that, I think. I don't think so, but who knows. Anyway, they only get there if you don't take the bridge. So that's turn 1 Bastogne. If you succeed in doing this, Marseille will be empty on turn 2, which is what you need. So then you've succeeded in the first part of turn 1. The second part is to take Saint Vith on turn 1 as well. You can suppress, push these guys back, then use the first SS Panzer Division Leibstandard Adolf Hitler to go in here, smack this unit, and you have a 50% chance of retreat. If you fail, you can technically still push back the 160th Infantry Division and destroy this with another unit. It's less important. What is important though is that you get the 3rd Panzer Grenadier Division all the way over to where this battalion von der Heide is. Why is that so important? Well, you basically need to use artillery fire on the units that spawn at the Spa fuel depots, because you cannot enter this hex. It's too tough to reach with any unit. It's impossible, and these guys can't go there. The enemy will spawn a unit on there on the next turn, the 82nd US Airborne, and they will park themselves there. You need to destroy them on turn 2 quickly, or at least make them retreat. That's the most important part. Now, if you're lucky and you're able to destroy or make retreat the 9th US Armored CCR, you're in luck, because the unit that's on the Spa fuel depots will go and attack it, and they won't have the chance to dig themselves in. Or they will switch out that unit because they've lost too many steps, and they'll put another unit in all there together. However, you're just in general best off if the unit that's out there doesn't dig in. It's basically, it's good if it doesn't dig in, but you can still win even if they do. You just have to be a little bit lucky. So you have 2 of these airborne attacks. I tend to use them on the 28th in order to hopefully get a bit of retreat chance, but that's pretty rough with -2. Or on the Spa fuel depots if they entrench, potentially if I need to, or on Namur. Anyway, you do want to move your panzers as much through the forest as possible turn 1, and like I said, get that artillery here, take Bastogne, and take the bridge. Once you've done that on turn 1, I think you're mostly out of the woods. Like, I think turn 1 is the most difficult out of this entire mission. It's also the most luck dependent, but once you've done that, I think you're in the clear. So you've done turn 1, now it's turn 2, and you don't have bad weather, because basically bad weather on any turn up till turn 5 will ruin all of your plans, and you might just as well restart if you get it in a bad place. It's unity of command all over again. So turn 2, you want to move all your panzers up to Marseille and up to the Meuse River. Marseille will be empty because the 82nd US Airborne didn't spawn there, or at least didn't move up because you took the bridge. So you want to take the Spa fuel depots with your artillery, and basically at that point you want to get in there and build a pontoon bridge over to this area. Moreover, you want to move all your armored units over to this area as much as possible to the Meuse River. Meanwhile, you want to start preparing for the defense of Bastogne. Why is that? Well, the enemy will have 1 US armored, a 2nd US Armored Division, a 3rd US Armored Division, and a 4th US Armored Division, all with the self-propelled artillery. They will have 4 6 strength tanks with 2 and or 3 specialist steps, all at pretty decent experience. One of them will have engineers, so you have to watch out for that especially. The enemy is going to launch relentless attacks in order to try and take Bastogne with those armored units. And with their infantry, to be frank, because their infantry is no slouch either. You can be sure of that. And they also have specialist steps, like engineers. All of them have artillery, and they are going for it. Luckily for you, they have to either cross the bridge or move through this here swamp in order to get there. And that's where you get your advantage. If you play your cards right, you can create a killing zone around Bastogne with your own artillery and some armored units potentially, in order to hopefully beat back any attack. But it's very challenging, even if you do know what you're doing. Anyway, move all units up, take Marche, and start building pontoon bridges. Now, I like to build pontoon bridges right next to Namur because we need to take it, and then also to try and get across some of these on these hexes in order to cross on the next turn. If you're lucky, the enemy won't block all of them, because if they do, then once again you're very likely screwed. I found that building more pontoon bridges affects more enemy units, so you're much more likely to get a success with just one or with just 2 or 3 pontoon bridges. Anyway, turn 3, you want to get as many of these guys here. Or that's turn 2. Turn 3. On turn 3, you want to cross the bridge. If you're lucky, you might already take Namur, where another infantry will spawn, unfortunately, on turn 3, namely the 75th US Infantry Division. If you have bad luck, it will dig in. If you're lucky, it won't. But I found that you can still take Namur on turn 4. That's not such a concern. Like I said, the time constraints get a little bit easier after turn 1. Cross the river. And what you want to do is you want to move all the way up here with your armored units. And I found the 116th Panzer Division and the Panzer Division to be excellent for that job. So you want to move them up. Why is that? Well, that will cut off all the enemy units in and around Aachen and Liège. You will cut off their rail lines and their truck supply pool. Or their truck supply from here. So then this will all be blocked off, and you have to fend off 2 turns of enemy units in order to make sure that these guys will be silenced forever. Another important thing that's there is that they spawn the Guards Armored Unit, which is a British elite armored division with 3 specialist steps, and it's a beast. I like to park 2 Panzer Divisions here to make sure that that unit doesn't spawn, because I found that the US or the Guards Armored Division will cause excessive losses amongst my units, and will just overall make this much tougher. So I'm parking those guys there in order to make sure that they cannot spawn the British Guard Armored Unit. Meanwhile, I will leave an opening for the enemy. Why am I doing that? The enemy is much more likely to try a breakout attempt if to attack in a breakout attempt if I block everything. But if they can get out of the encirclement, then they're much less likely to attack because they don't feel threatened. So they'll be out of supply for 1 turn, and they just try to escape, but not necessarily attack. That's good. That's good. That's what you want. Why? Well, on turn 4, I will get the encirclement again, and then they'll be out of supply for 2 turns, and then it's too late. So ideally, you want to make a loose encirclement turn 3, and then tighten the noose turn 4, so that once they're actually with they're 2 turns out of supply and they can't attack anymore, then you're gonna go in for the kill, and will not let them pass back to supply anymore. Anyway, if you've taken Namur turn 4, you if you take it turn 3, you're in luck because you can use the SS Gebirgsjäger Nord on turn 4 and move it over here to help with Liège on turn 5. Otherwise, you have to do it with tanks. The enemy will likely move with a lot of units out here, so you don't really know what units will be on Liège itself, but it's very likely to be a relatively weak unit. If you're in bad luck, the enemy can still spawn the 51st British Infantry Division, even if they're cut off. So they might park that unit on Liège, which makes it a bit tougher. But you should be able to take Liège on turn 5 with whatever units you have in order to get the last secondary objective. Besides Antwerp, of course. Seizing the equipment is easy. But once you've taken Namur and Liège, what I like to do is basically around turn 4 to turn 5, I want to already send quite a few armor divisions back down south to Bastogne, because you need those units in order to defend against those armored units. Once they have 4 armored units, they're going to be very relentless over here, and they can smack you around like a rag doll. So you really want elite Panzer divisions like the 10th and the 9th SS Panzer Division. You really want those guys down south as fast as possible once you've cleared up things here in order to help out. You can use some of the mobile units like the Panzer Grenadiers, but they can only hold out the enemy armored units for so long, and they're not an effective means to deal with them. You really need heavy armor to deal with those guys. And of course the woods. Anyway, I like to send a task force to take Antwerp and send my heaviest units down to help at Bastogne against the enemy attacks. Now, then you still have to hold Bastogne for as long as you don't take Antwerp. Meanwhile, you want to clear the Liège pocket of enemy troops once they're all out of supply for 3 turns. And then you can get the rail going all the way up into Namur and then even down. You have to repair that bridge though. Anyway, once this is cleared, you're really good, at least in supply. Things are going to be okay. But yeah, the first few turns are critical, and I find that the first turn is the most difficult and the toughest. Because of that, even for me, it might take me a couple of retries in order to get the first turn just right. Because there's... it's just, for some of these missions, you can do them out of the blue, just in one go, that's fine. But I find with some units, you know, with some missions, it's just luck dependent with this game. There's nothing you can do, especially if you want all of the objectives. And yeah, I will have to reload probably a few times until I get the conditions, like I said, in order to get this bridge and this here as well. Because this unit will just naturally be very tough to crack. Like I said, if under normal circumstances, you might have a 50% chance, but I find that getting to Bastogne and then up until here, it's more like a 10% chance to succeed or something like that. It's very low. Naturally, the Germans didn't have any chance of succeeding in this mission, but oh well. Yeah, so I'm gonna be doing that, and there will probably be some replays for the first turn. Now, I also found that for some reason on this mission, from time to time the game will crash when clicking certain units. And that's the reason why I'm going to save frequently as well, because there's nothing worse than being on turn 6 and then having to replay this entire mission, including turn 1, because the game crashes. The way the standalone scenarios work is that they don't automatically save your progress like the campaign missions do. Like, they save your progress after every movement, but these guys don't do that. You actually have to use the save function in order to save this. Now, that does make something like, well, people call it save scumming, but obviously I use this function extensively when play testing a map. So you have to save from time to time in order to make sure that your progress doesn't get lost. And of course, if you're doing badly, you could technically always reload if that's your thing. And if you feel like you have to play it in one go, you can also do that. But obviously, you have to be a bit more disciplined for that. Anyway, yeah, I'm probably going to reload a couple of times in the first turn. And then hopefully after that, things will be going smoothly. Otherwise, I might have to replay a certain part. Yeah, that sucks. But if the game crashes, there's nothing I can do about that. Besides that, let's read one part of the briefing, because I haven't read the OKW dispatch yet. But yeah, I've talked about my strategy for quite a long time, because I think this is a really tough mission. I've been playing Operation Northwind, which is the next episode, or the next standalone scenario as well, and I found that one to be a lot easier than this one. So, oh well. The Germans certainly do play very differently, and I can go over the differences a little bit. So, the difference between playing as the Germans is this. They can only have one specialist step on each of their units. This is to reenact the poor equipment situation that the Germans were in at this point, compared to the abundance of support that the Americans by this time had. Well, of course, the British and Canadians and all the other countries as well. But yeah, the Allies have much more abundant equipment than the Germans by this stage, so the Germans can only have one specialist step on each of their units. But instead of a maximum of 6 steps per unit, they do get a 7th step on each of their units. Much of the German units is actually at much lower veterancy, except for stuff like the Fallschirmjäger. Well, you can already see that the 5th Fallschirmjäger is, for example, at 120. Many of the Volksgrenadiers are at either 100 or just in general quite low, at least below veterancy level by this stage. So yeah, that really sucks. Not only that, basically, well, the U.S. infantry divisions are not super powerful, but the regular German infantry divisions are much better. They have 4 attack, 3 defense. The problem is we have hardly any regular infantry units left, except a bit up here. Most of my units are now Volksgrenadier divisions, which are a bit weaker. They only have 3-3 instead of your 4-3. Now, luckily, the U.S. infantry divisions are a bit weaker, but because they have so much specialist steps, it's still really tough to beat. Not only that, the U.S. infantry divisions have much more veterancy by this stage than the Germans do. Some of them are elite, and most of them are at least veteran. Not to talk about the often as well veteran tank divisions that they have. Well, not for these U.S. Armored TCB units and CCR, etc., etc. They have 4 of these. We use them in the campaign. Anyway, they have a lot of veterancy, so they have veterancy advantage, specialist step advantage, just unit numbers as well. They have a lot of units. And just look at this. This is just, even for regular infantry division, for them to have 3 specialist steps, like, I'm not naturally going to do a whole lot. This Panzer division with 6 steps and a recon is just going to do 1-1. Moving these guys here, it's all 1-1. Full strength German Panzer division with 2 veterancy can go here, try to attack this US division in the forest. They're just going to take 1 damage and deal 1 back. That's the kind of difficulty we're dealing with here. So, really rough. Can I actually even take that back? No, I can't. Wow. Yeah, anyway, that's the difficulty that we're dealing with here. Now, the only units that can effectively crash through things reliably are the SS Panzer divisions, which have 10 attack and 7 defense. Much better than, or even better than the regular Panzer Divisions. And then, of course, these guys are, these are elites, and the other ones are veterans. But this is your punch-through unit to go to the Leibstandarte. And this is the Hitlerjugend, 12th SS Panzer Division. So yeah, these guys are your buddies, and they are going to be the most powerful units in your arsenal, and they're really good. They really are. But their specialist steps are quite vulnerable and will likely be destroyed on the first attack, just like these steps. So that's something that's also pretty tough for the Germans. They lose their specialist steps first and foremost, and after that their regular steps. Whereas for example, the 10th US Armored, they are going to lose 3 regular steps before they lose their self-propelled anti-tank step. Or SPAG, but I don't really like to use that word. Anyway, their steps are much lower in the, let's just call it step chain. So they are going to lose regular steps, but keep their most powerful ones, the specialist steps, whereas we lose our specialist steps immediately with a 1-1 loss. If I attack here, I'm losing my engineers. Whereas they will lose a regular step and not their anti-tank step. So that really sucks. At least for the Germans. I mean, it's a game feature. I actually like this game feature, so I don't think it's bad design. I meant it in the sense that we're in a tough spot, and that's what it is. All right, I've been talking quite a long time about this first scenario, but I think it's important not only for how you play as the Germans. This is, of course, their first standalone scenario. There will be more, so it's nice to know how they play out a bit. Besides that, this is the toughest mission that I've seen so far, and yeah, that means that if you want to succeed and get everything, this is the good strategy. It seems that some people have found that breaking through at either Liège or Namur and not going for the historical way is much easier. So they will either go through Luxembourg and then move up, or through Liège and then move up. So they're using an ahistorical route. They say that that's easier. Maybe, but I can't do that because I need to take all the objectives. Like, I need to take Bastogne and the fuel depots on time, and then also both of these. I find that if you go through Luxembourg and then up, well, not only am I not going to be able to take both St. Vith, the Spa fuel depots, and Bastogne on time, there's no way I'm going to be able to get at Liège at turn 5 if I break through here and secure my supply line. This takes a lot longer, naturally. Now, you can still make Antwerp by turn 8, but then you're missing out on Liège. And I can't do that. I need to capture everything, and then you need to go through the center. It's the only way you can capture everything. So if you find one of these strategies to be easier for you, and you can still get a decisive victory, good for you. I, of course, am going for the maximum possible achievement, which is capturing all of this and getting a decisive victory. So I cannot get too many losses on this mission as well. And you'll find that during the end of the mission, I will frantically look at the points in order to get that decisive victory as well. Because we need a total of 330 points in order for that decisive victory. Yeah, brilliant victory, 330. All right, well, it's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. OKW Dispatch is the last. The season of mist, snow, and rain has come. This means that no Allied aircraft will impede upon your upcoming offensive. Your main goal is Antwerp. Speed is of the essence, Commander. The Allies will throw all their material might into your forces once they recover from the initial shock. Decisive victory, 50 points, so that's fairly easy to get. But then a brilliant victory, 330, is much more difficult. Right, some unfortunate crashes. So I have to replay from turn 2 here. Alright. Game, can you please select it? Thanks. Alright, let's keep going then. And let's do these. Take the fuel depot. There we go. Get the next one. Deploy you. Move them ahead. And let's keep going. There we go. Okay. I have no patience for failure now that I've already replayed it. Game. There we go. I think I forgot about the supply. I did. Let's see if it's still fixable though. Okay, so I need you out there and these out here. Alright, shouldn't forget. Yeah. Quite surprising that they had that there. Let's just attack. They didn't lose their. Oh wow, that's good. Let's go after the armor, and I'm just gonna leave these guys. I'm fine with them moving back up, and then I can destroy whatever leftover armor I need to get rid of. So what I'm gonna try and do here is I have to actually take a proper look. So probably not going to be able. Okay. Yeah, I'd like to reduce this pocket already, and let's take this.
and just allow them out there again. Want to get a lot of artillery in there. What's wrong with that 7th Army? They didn't get any supply. Guess they didn't. That would be quite precarious, though. It's unfortunate I wasn't able to get that on this turn, but really? Going through the center is indeed not particularly ideal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they would then be able to get another unit in there. And that's not good. Should be having decent supply though. Let's move you back a bit. You do have all of that for now. Okay, well, that's gotta be it for this turn. Unless I move you, it's probably useful because then they can go down. As long as I have everything covered here. Supplies are terrible. That's a weird movement. I mean, they can just go out. Ooh. Right, well, I'm actually gonna do this here. Would be nice to get slightly better results than that, to be honest. But that's not gonna happen. Okay, that will cut off any other units that are also in that area. Right, I'll just start with that. Okay, good. So they will not get any supplies, but well, these can move up, so that's fine. Apparently they cannot reach that. You can. And 6th Panzer Army has no fuel. At least you can get in there. Well, so I don't really get why they cannot get into that hex. Well, I do have an idea. Well, anyway. Good, that helps a lot. Because I'll probably have trouble trying to defeat those guys. 1-1, yeah. How about this? Also 1-1. So that for now. Get that. And I don't feel good about this at all. I need a unit now. At the very least, that's in here, but that can also retreat. And then I also need you here. And I need a unit out here to prevent me from getting any nasty there. But I have to say that that's not looking quite fancy either. Still, they can both retreat, but then again, because of these stupid operations that haven't been completed, yeah, let's just do it like this, which I know is very bad. It's not gonna benefit me at all, but I don't really see how I have a choice. Can't go in there. They still have units that might potentially attack. And here we go. Cutting me off, eh? Well, here we go. They can retreat though, at least. Ooh. Well, that helps. Please go back. Thank God. No. Come on, game. Really? You deal 3? Okay, well, come on. There we go. Let's build some pontoon bridges. I still need to take that though. Yeah, so oh. I think the replay is naturally not going to be fun, but it's especially bad on a mission such as this, I think, which is a crazy, which was already crazy, like I said. At least it's going fast then. Build another pontoon bridge. Move you across. And that's it. Oh, what a convenience. They still all didn't get supply. Well, whatever. Okay, let's do that. Don't like that huge stack because that's just naturally really gonna be in the way. Overrun. The real big problem is that neither of them are resupplyable. And that's really bad. But I'll see whether I get to create maybe another pontoon bridge or something. Alright, let's get moving. Once again, I have a very large number of units that I can place. Let's just create another pontoon bridge, repair those or refuel those guys. Okay. Yes, a lot of units that have their supply disrupted now. But at least getting rid of those two is nice. What ain't nice is I need to take Namur by the next turn. But Liège too. Ah, come on. Like they have 3 armored units, of which 2 can attack also on the next turn. %. Well, there was already something, at least. %. Okay, if 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so then they wouldn't be able to attack. Okay, this is actually decent. So now I can take it, move in here, immediately deploy you. Now, unfortunately, come on. Hey. Okay. So, there are some decent attacks here. Not yet. Let's just move out here with you. And try to get rid of some of those steps most of all. I'm quite sure they would still be trapped anyway. Yeah, they're cornered. Okay. Of course I'm losing more, but oh, I actually still had one. Well, didn't see that coming. Silly me. If they're gonna come again, do I want yeah, because I can use the artillery attack. Let's just defeat them. I don't need to get those guys immediately, but to be fair, well, practically I can either prevent them from being cut off or let them take everything back. So either way it's gonna be a bad choice. If they move in here, I should have repaired. Can I still do that? Probably not. Nope, I should have repaired that bridge. It's a very bad choice of me, because that would have given me better supply. And it... Oh, I can actually move like this. That is something, but I still messed that up. Playing quite poorly. Yeah, unfortunately I do need a unit in here, because if they... I can't allow them to go in there with too many units and attack me. This also sucks, it might get destroyed. But there's nothing I can do for now. Yeah, no attack. Okay, so next turn I should also be able to bring some units further down again, although they don't have that much here anymore at least. But they still have these two, so... Oh, great. Please retreat. No. Wow. Okay. Wow. So they put the armor up there though. Okay, well... At least I can go in there. What is up with this? Oh, there's mod, of course. Why wouldn't there be? Alright, well... Still... Let's do that. Are we on score 214? We can go in there now, because there's no way any of their units will have the option to attack. Okay. You need to move all the way over here and start attacking there, because these guys will be a bit of a problem. Now, at this rate... sure game. Okay, at least I have some marginal attacks against some of those. I'm saying marginal because they really are not particularly great. this is... They can also retreat again, so... Wow. I mean, my supply should be a bit better now, but... Yeah, I already knew that was there. Supply. Can we stop getting these 1-1 results? It's like the 4th time in a row. It's really, really annoying that the game is like doing this. Well, that's no retreat is actually benefiting me quite a bit now. Right, and actually I shouldn't forget to save just in case things go awry. And I gotta crash again. So attacking there certainly doesn't benefit me now, and it probably won't benefit me for quite some time, like here. I need to try to keep a supply line going as well though, which these guys will surely cut off by going in here. But as it is, there's not even anything I can do about it. How's their supply on that? They should be in bad supply. But if I don't go to Namur, I'll be in trouble too. Though I can do a if they will be able to beat this, I'm gonna eat my shoe. Yeah, you cannot go back. That gets you into Nam... No, because they can attack quite a bit over there. Let's do it like this. So... Okay, you can do indeed this at least as well. So 1-1 now. Is there anything else that I might be able to sacrifice? No, the only thing they're both veterans, but you'll have anti-tank steps. So I can only hope that I'll be able to survive. These guys again can retreat. I need something in here to at least keep the supplies flowing through there. Otherwise, that will also be a huge disaster. Yeah, this unit is annoying right now, but I can't do anything. And the only thing I can do here is also call you back for a bit, while trying to plow through here eventually. Yeah. Maybe they'll get out of there, but it's unlikely. Okay. Okay, let's try to go through here, get the supplies going. Well, I guess also trying not to take too many losses. Well, these are all 0-2. At least I'm not losing any steps right now. So the removal of a lot of these guys should at least make things a lot easier. And again, let's not forget to save. I can take care of that later. Okay. So let's move you in here and attack them too. Well, there we go, that's at least something. Now, if I have some decent attacks here, I will definitely make them. 223 right now. This will make it go up a bit more. It's already quite a late turn, so I do also need to go up and start trying to deal with those as soon as possible. Let's at least get the rail line going. And that's gonna be good. So next, block you there. I need these guys to not be able to move anywhere, basically. Still 1 and 1. I mean, I'm sure now it's at least slightly better. They do have plenty of armor still, though. Also can't let them get through. And here. Yeah. So these guys will also be racing up. And the same. Okay, you cannot do anything like that anymore. It's a shame they'll be out of supply here, but I'm gonna move up the HQs. Okay. This is probably again gonna hurt a bit, but it's probably for the best. Let's do that. And primarily use this to capture stuff. So I can redeploy that on the next turn. They can get in here if they want. They're gonna be cut off. And let's move you here so they're 100% guaranteed to get supply. Let's keep it at 5. getting hurt quite badly. Okay. I can only hope to get enough points as well for a victory. We'll see. No retreat order. Now with this mod again, okay, score, good. Okay. Okay, well, there's practically nothing they can do against me getting a victory there, at least. Unless they find themselves capable of I'm certainly not gonna let them have a unit right next to that or on this side. Out of range of the 7th Army, so they really had to be nasty. How many points? 244. It's really bad to be losing units like that, and I have nothing with which to suppress this further. This stupid weather. Really? Well, yeah, it cost me 4 points to do that. That's nuts. Okay, so maybe just no retreat. No, come on. Okay, well at least they won't be able to use their... Can we stop doing that? It's not getting any better. Okay. Yeah, okay, so I was able to hold them barely, but this turn I think they quite overextended themselves because they have no more armor left. Doesn't mean that I can go all in, but okay. And the city is in ruins, so they had that come in. They have poor supply in that region. And I'm also gonna suppress them. So I don't really see him take this either way at that point. But at 268. Can I damage them? No. If I take these, they... One, two, three... Nah, they will not likely do anything. And it does add up my score just slightly, which is good. Okay, well, like I said, I'm banking on them not being able to take this destroyed city. And also that. And that's it. All right. Crazy battle, but I made it ultimately. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care and see you next time. Bye bye.